All right, good morning, everybody. Hey, Ryan. Hopefully the audio is good. Morning, Mubaris. Let me know how the audio sounds, guys. I want to make sure. I didn't get to do a sound check beforehand, so give me a thumbs up or something. If the mic sounds good, if the audio sounds all right when I start playing the podcast. Welcome, everybody, to Simply Cyber's First Things First, your cybersecurity daily threat briefing. And by daily, I mean weekdays. We do take a day off or two around here occasionally. Grab your coffee, get comfortable. It's going to be a fun 20 minutes. We're going to go through the top news stories of the day, set you up for success for the rest of the day. I'll give you my professional analysis on each of the stories. Sometimes I go on spicy rants, if we're feeling it, if the coffee's kicked in. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Dennis. A couple new people in here. Anthony, I see you. Johan. Josh Mason. I saw that Cyber Beyonce post on LinkedIn. We're going to have fun tonight with John. Good to see you, BSEC. I missed you. I noticed you weren't in attendance there for a minute. Hopefully you got some R&R. Hey, Rob. Tom Pike. That sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Here, I'm going to play my spicy drop just for a mic check. Just for a mic check. Spicy! Hopefully that didn't blow anyone's ears out. Good morning, Jay. David. God, you guys bring the heat every morning. I love it. I love it. Good morning, David, Chris, KC, as always. Got our international community. So not to be not inclusive, good afternoon if it's afternoon, good evening if it's your evening. I know we get a lot of, Asia, some European folks in here, Africa. Like we may be able to pull all continents. I've seen Brazil in here. We may be able to pull all continents in one stream. If I do know people in Antarctica, maybe I can get them to tune in one day and we could have all the continents live in chat at the same time. Oh, Pamela, hopefully you're okay wherever you are. I know with that 95 stuff. Had to get rid of that corona. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Sucks. All right, Kimberly can fix it. Yeah, Kimberly's got enough sun and heat South Florida for everybody. You should can that, slap a label on it, Kimberly, and sell it. All right, we got Asia in the house. Thank you, Saravanan. All right, y'all. Let's get into it. If you want to play along, we are doing cisoseries.com. If you'd like to, go back and dig into any of the stories that we cover today. And yeah, it'll be a good time. Let's get rocking, yeah?
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
It's Tuesday, January 6th, 2022. Microsoft's digital signature verification exploited. Checkpoint Research discovered a group malsmoke using the Zloader malware, exploiting a flaw in Microsoft's digital signature verification in order to steal user credentials and other sensitive information. The campaign seems to date back to at least November 2021. The campaign has already hit over 2,100 unique victims across 111 countries, although it is mainly focused on the US, Canada, and India. This attack also appears to be under active development, with exact attack methods updating on a weekly basis. The researchers recommend applying Microsoft's update for strict authenticode verification to avoid the attack. New York.
All right, interesting. So, this is one of those ones, people that this is interesting. I don't know what Microsoft's e-signature verification system is, right? I know what e-signatures are. DocuSign's got them, right? I always find it, I don't laugh out loud, but I always find it comical when people think digital signatures is like just a JPEG or a GIF of a signature. I probably just lost some people in chat because they're like, it's GIF, Jerry. I'm out. Deuces. Listen, I don't know what Microsoft's e-signature verification system is. I don't know how widely deployed it is. So for me personally, as a practitioner, there's some unknowns here. Is this affecting my end user population? Is this really, more importantly, my first thought is this something that third parties that my company interacts with, are they using it? Because Typically business to business transactions have contracts that get signed digitally. So personally, I'm going to take a note. Actually, the the rare dry erase board you guys get here, I actually do write on it for myself to take action. So for me, I'm taking action and getting more information on that. So I'll probably post something about it on LinkedIn later. Honestly, uh,
AG
hold on one second. I want to see. Yeah, exactly, Keith. That's why I say GIF too, because the guy who invented it calls it GIF. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lose my mind on that. Okay, yeah, I know what the G
warns of
stands for. I'm
credential
just
stuffing attacks. New
respecting
York
the man.
Attorney General Letitia James announced her office notified 17 businesses about the attacks, including online retailers, restaurant chains, and food delivery services. The warning came from monitoring hacking forums containing customer login credentials, with the OAG collecting over 1.1 million credentials apparently compromised in a credential stuffing attack. James said her office worked with the companies to determine how the credentials were obtained and how to better secure customer accounts going forward.
Okay, so this is a good story. Just one of those insights into kind of like how the criminal underground really works, and kudos to the New York Attorney General for monitoring, doing that dark web threat intel, and then notifying companies of breaches. So that's really cool. A couple things, right? And this is more, this is kind of a non-story. This happens all the time, but for the benefit of everybody, when people steal or harvest username password databases, or a spreadsheet with username and passwords, right? So MSPs, groups that manage, like, small businesses will outsource their IT to an MSP sometimes, and that MSP will then have logins to hundreds of businesses. So if it's rookie ball, if it's amateur hour, they'll have a spreadsheet somewhere. So if that gets popped, it's not uncommon to go onto the dark web, hacking forums, etc., and sell. Hey, I've got this list of usernames and passwords. Like, the person who got it doesn't want to use it. They're not going to proliferate that attack, but they have it as an asset to sell to anyone who wants to buy it. And by the way, because it's a file, right? You could sell it to multiple people and scale up the value of that hack. So it's cool when, basically, in this instance, the New York offices of Attorney General and other law enforcement entities will do this. They go underground. They've built personas. They have, like, threat intel people who go and operate in these dark web forums and discover stuff like this for the benefit of us as victims. So it's cool to see that they're doing this. There is hope that law enforcement isn't just some strong-armed, um, regime pushing down whatever doctrine the ruling party wants. It's really doing stuff for the greater good. So good on you. If you were involved with a breach, hopefully you're not reusing passwords. Hopefully you use password managers. That's the best practice, as always. Good morning, Dr. Joseph. Jerica from Arkansas. What's up? Good to see you, Neil. Good to see you, Joseph. Yeah, I got an email from Have I Been Pwned this morning for a website. If it's not one of the stories, I'll cover it in a minute. I think it might be a story today, though. Come on, podcast.
Google acquires Simplify. The search giant acquired the Israeli startup for $500 million. Google described the company as a security, orchestration, automation, and response organization, and plans to integrate its assets into Chronicle as part of the overall Google Cloud business unit. Simplify was founded in 2015, before Chronicle launched as an Alphabet company in 2018, and then subsequently merged into Google Cloud in 2019. In August, Google pledged to spend over $10 billion in the next 5 years to improve U.S. cybersecurity. So I guess this deal puts them 5% there.
Holy crap. Okay, wow. For me personally, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack here, guys. Okay, so Google, right, Fortune 3 company, they just spent $500 million to buy a SOAR company, okay? It's not uncommon for, big tech companies, instead of developing the skill in-house or developing the solution in-house, they can just buy a company that's already done it. It saves them time. It saves them money in the long run. I want to point out that it's an Israeli-based security company. Very important to note. I'm telling you right now, and I could back this opinion up with evidence if someone wanted to call me out on it. But like Israel, they generate like some of the best security tools. Like they are just pumping out awesome information security tooling. Like anytime I see a security tool, if I see that it's Israeli based or the founders are from Israel, like it piques my interest as giving it like an extra look because they are just straight up crushing it over and over again. So not surprised, right? So Google bought this thing for $500 million. Google doesn't invest just like haphazardly, right? They've got the long play. And SOAR is a technology that basically think of SOAR as like automation for incident response, right? So with EDR, endpoint detection response, it's like an agent. It does something. It sees bad. It maybe it isolates the machine and stuff like that. SOAR is like taking that and like ratcheting it up to 11. Okay, SOAR is where like in SOAR. I'm trying to think what's the SOAR tool that begins with PH. Is it Phantom? I think Phantom might be Splunk's offering for SOAR, but SOAR is taking the response and automating it. So you're like moving systems off VLANs. You're sending tickets. You're then like looking at the network for other stuff, like all automated. And like it basically eliminates a lot of manual stuff that an analyst would have to do or look into or figure out. And it basically abstracts it up. So then the analyst is only getting straight up. This is the dream. The analyst is only getting actionable intel on immediate threat. That's what SOAR is supposed to do. And if Google bought this company, I sure believe that Google's SOAR capability, if this is going to be publicly available in some capacity, is going to be quite interesting. They'll probably rebrand it from Simplify. Most companies do rebrand when they buy something. So this is really interesting. Now, Google pledged to spend $10 billion to help the U.S. cybersecurity. So that's why I said I don't know if this would be a consumer-facing product. $500 million is a very small piece of Google's overall budget, right? So, they could just be doing this in order to bolster main, back-end infrastructure that Google manages. Maybe even Google Compute, right? They've been making a hard push to make Google Compute in the same conversation as Azure and AWS. So this might be one of their service offerings in the Google Compute platform. If you move your infrastructure over to Google Compute, you'll get SOAR for free and we'll manage it or whatever in order to like push adoption. Okay. That's it for that. Okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We're not done, but just me flipping out about SOAR. Okay.
AMD debuts Microsoft's new security chip. Microsoft first announced Pluton, an extension of its Trusted Platform Module program, back in November 2020. Microsoft based Pluton off the security chip initially used in the Xbox One, integrating hardware security components directly into the CPU. Pluton was developed with AMD, Intel, and Qualcomm, and the technology is already used internally at Microsoft with its Azure Sphere processors. At CES, AMD announced it would be the first company to launch a consumer product with Pluton, integrating it into the new Ryzen 6000 series CPUs. Lenovo will be the first to ship the processors in the ThinkPads Z13 and Z16 laptops coming out in May.
Interesting. Okay, so I don't really get all geeked up about the hardware side in our industry. Yes, there's like Spectre and the other one that came out at the same time as Spectre where you could like attack the chip and stuff like that. But for the most part, I personally don't get too concerned about stories like this. It is interesting. One thing I do find odd is that they developed this chip, an AMD chip alongside Intel, which is like, and Qualcomm. Like Qualcomm, Intel, and AMD are the competitors of each other for processors. So I don't know why Intel and Qualcomm would help unless follow the money, right? They must either be getting a piece of Pluton or Microsoft paid them to collaborate on it, or they got access to the intellectual property that was created when Pluton was developed. Long story short, AMD's got a new chip. Look for it. Faster computer, more processes, etc. No big deal. Certainly not an interest from me.
A word from our sponsor, Deepwatch. Meta has not been shy about being bullish about the metaverse, going so far as to rename the company after the primacy of those efforts. A key piece of this is the continued growth of its Oculus VR hardware unit. So it comes as a bit of a surprise to see the information sources say the company has halted development of a new OS for AR and VR headsets. Currently, the company uses a modified version of Android on its Oculus headsets, and while the company hasn't rolled out the possibility of resuming work on a new OS, it plans to keep using Android for the foreseeable future.
Okay. That's fine. Whatever. I mean, they were developing an in-house operating system, and now they've halted it. Interesting, kind of. They're using Android. Android's pretty well suited. Now, Android is a Google product, not a Facebook product or Meta product, and maybe that has something to do with it. Where Meta, Facebook, they want to have their own operating system that they push. Especially if you think about it this way too, if if Meta develops their own custom AR VR operating system, then they would become kind of the OS standard for the platform, right? AR VR, and as other players get in the game, they would just leverage that OS and then build on top of it, and that would be a huge revenue stream and opportunity for Meta to continue to control that space. They're halting it. I don't know. Maybe they figured out it was too hard, or maybe they were just reinventing Android and they're like, this is a total waste of time. We should just work on apps that people want to buy because that's where the money is. Again, follow the money. The only thing I would say on this that I think is interesting more about Meta, I saw a really funny like tweet or something yesterday where they're like, oh, in 3 years everyone's office is going to be in Meta, like we're going to be living in AR VR, just bumping into each other with headsets on. And this female professional was like, I work help desk, here's like 3 tickets I got just today, and it was like, like the help desk tickets were like, I have 2,000 icons, I need help, I need reset password. Like, it was just basically indicating that the end user population, not all of them are completely technical and would be fully capable of adopting an AR VR interface for going to work every day. So, the dream versus the reality, those two haven't quite met each other yet. I will say that I do have an Oculus Quest 2 VR. I did download something called Spatial, which is like, I think it's Meta's first, foray into this idea of this metaverse. It's fine. It's whatever. It's fine. Okay. Continuing on. Slow news day.
German regulators will keep a close eye on Google.
What?
Germany's federal
Bloomberg.
cartel office.
I don't know if you guys are old enough. I am to remember Seinfeld, but like Newman, who was the guy who was the evil computer technician in Jurassic Park, he would be like Jerry because it was like his nemesis. Every time a Bloomberg story comes up on this morning live stream, and I see this blurred text, I'm just like, Bloomberg. So, anyways, that's a aside.
Ruled that Alphabet's Google business will be subject to additional oversight over the next 5 years, letting the regulator ban practices it deems anti-competitive. The FCO already began looking into how Google processes personal data, as well as its news showcase. The regulator said it made the ruling because Google was of paramount significance for competition across markets, but that its influence on markets was insufficiently controlled by competitors in the market.
All right.
FTC settled.
Yeah, okay, whatever. German regulators are saying that Google is a monopoly. Yep. I mean, they have like infinite money and they dominate in multiple spaces. So, Germany's taking a look at them. Period. I agree with you, BSAC. Slow news day. Good for us. That is good for us. So, Hambone, I like that username. Okay. Let's keep rolling. Yeah, exactly. Google's a monopoly. News at 11. Exactly.
On mortgage data leak case. The Federal Trade Commission reached a settlement with the Texas-based firm Ascension on a 2019 data leak that saw sensitive mortgage documents exposed. The FTC ordered the company to strengthen its own security practices, as well as set safeguards for vendors. The data leak was caused by the vendor Optics ML, which was hired by Ascension for OCR conversion of mortgage documents. Optics ML left the data exposed on an open database for over a year, which included 24 million records with information on things like names, dates of birth, social security numbers, and bank account information. Logs show the database was accessed over 50 times in that window, mostly from computers located in Russia or China.
Ugh. Okay. I don't want to. I hate to sound like such a. I don't know what the right word is to say on a live stream that I want to keep PC, but like I hate to be so. Ugh. But listen to me. FTC settles with data analytics. Couple things going on here, right? No financial penalties were imposed as part of the settlement. Oh, enjoy the hand slap ascension, right? Second of all, the problem is that this Texas-based company that does mortgages, Ascension, outsourced basically the digitization of files to this Optics ML company, right? So like basically here's a ton of paper, make it digital and get back to me with a file share I can just mass pull from. Optics ML is the one who screwed up here. Ascension, so Optics ML should be penalized, right? Third party risk. Neo Bridges, I'm talking to you. Third party risk, right? And Ascension's the one who gets dragged through the mud and held liable. But at the same time, there was no penalty involved. They've been ordered to improve their security. Wow, shocker! It's stuff like this. Like, how is this? How is this going to move the needle on anything? Seriously, like, oh, it's you know what? If anything, it's like this is like free pub. Hold on, my camera's all jacked up. Listen, this is like free pub for Ascension. Yeah, the FTC did something. We can all cheer and feel great together, but like, how is this going to move the needle on anything? Explain it to me. It's so frustrating. I'm not saying like financially penalize everyone, but like, can we have like a wall of shame like Health and Human Services have, or can we like do something? I don't know what the answer is. I haven't had enough coffee to come up with an answer. But what the heck? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, great, nothing. Ugh. Get out of here with that noise. Moving on. I'm sorry. Some things grind my gears in my Peter Griffin way. All right.
AI generated stock models are now a thing. The German stock photo agency Smarter Pics announced the first set of stock portraits entirely generated by AI are now available for legal licensing. These were generated in partnership with Visual, which specializes in synthetic stock media. The library of human portraits will be generated with green screen backgrounds. Visual claims this will allow it to offer a library of diverse faces, ages, ethnicities, and genders. The company claims it developed its data set from AI-generated portraits in-house, with all source models signing biometric release forms. Of the initial 800 portraits, some clearly do not pass as real photos, and emotions displayed by the AI are predominantly disgust, boredom, or sadness, with no images of happiness.
Okay, so a couple things here. One, I love Richard Sorvino, who's the guy who is speaking in this podcast right now. Like, okay, so this company is basically generating fake people, and there's a great website. Someone drop it in chat if you know it. I took TCM's OSINT course, and he has a section about creating sock puppets, and you basically create fake personas so you can do threat intel. And there's a website that'll generate a fake human picture, right? So I guess maybe the market offering for this company is that you don't have to go through the trouble of creating that. They'll just have a library of them. A couple things. One, this sucks for anyone who's basically like a model, right? If you're like you're not. I don't know. I want to like Sarah Jessica Parker or Scarlett Johansson. Like if you're like an A-lister or like a Cindy Crawford or Kathy Ireland, like whatever, like these models, you're probably going to be okay. But this right here indicate like if you can generate fake people doing fake stuff. Why can't you generate a fake person wearing like the spring 2022 line of clothes at J. Crew, right? Like, see you later. You know who we don't have to pay? People, because we can just AI generate them now, which is, again, free market capitalism, fine. I do find it interesting that all of the models showed looks of like confusion, disgust, or like frustration or boredom. Like, did they not program it to like have different looks? Like, did the AI literally decide that that's the look and face it's going to go with, and that's what the results were? So, um, not surprising. Every type of AI thing I've seen, not every, but many of the AI things, they usually get polluted. And I've mentioned it on stream before. The Microsoft one, they let that fly for a little while, and it turned into like a bigot basically, and they had to shut it off because it was just a nasty bot. Um, so whatever. I mean, I guess take a good look, people. This is the when the machines rise up, they're gonna assume this face right here. At least it's a little less. You know that doesn't look like someone you want to. I mean, she looks like a fine person. I'm just saying with the look on that face, you might be not interested in grabbing coffee or whatever. Okay, this guy's kind of smirking though. So okay, that's going to do it for the news stories for today. I do want to remind everybody that we will be, today is the day, it is January 6th. We're going to be live streaming at 4:30 today, p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the man, the legend, Cyber Beyonce himself, John Strand, leader of Black Hills Information Security, all around great guy. If you know of John, then you know exactly how great he is. Just as a contributor to the community, very smart when it comes to cybersecurity, both offensive and defensive. Sans guy. He's going to come on stream. We're going to be talking about pay what you can. The education model that he's doing will specifically dig into active defense and cyber deception, which is the class he's doing at the end of the month, which I'll be in as well. And we'll dig into that and have a good time. I've got 5 questions for John. I've already queued them up, and we'll be ready to rock on that. We'll be giving away. It is pay what you can, but some people feel bad not paying or whatever. So Josh Mason and Cyber Supply Drop, all the great people over there, have donated admission into that program at the end of January. We'll be raffling away. I've got some other raffles potentially we're going to be doing. So listen, if you haven't come to the Thursday live streams, it's a good time, right? So I'll just leave it at that. Regardless if it's John or the next person, they're usually all about good times, and it's much like the chat here. So we roll. It's January 6th, people. Where's my outro music? Cool. Wayne, Peter. Oh, good, Pete. I love it. Good to see you, man. All right, guys. BSEC, I'm glad you're feeling better. We're gonna call it, guys. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll be doing our Friday cybersecurity threat briefing. Then we'll go over and rate cyber insecurity as a group. We do it every weekday at 8 a.m. So come join us. I'll be throwing out all the invites for next week. I do start teaching next week at university, so there'll be a little bit of disruption on the Tuesday, Thursday shows, but we'll sort it out. Guys, we hit peak numbers today. We're at 69. Thank you so much. Love doing this. Love the community. Y'all have a great, wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow, or we'll see you today at